Welcome to our first edition of The Philosophical Farmer. Clyde Fenton will give us insight on how to successfully grow tasty tomatoes.
We're going to do a little session this morning called trash bag gardening. I don't know if that name works or not, but that's what we're going to go with today. But I'm going to show how anyone can take a little section of their lawn and put in a few tomato plants and show you some real tips that are going to help you deal with the weeds and holding moisture. I got this idea. I thought, you know, any homeowner's probably got this in their cupboard, and it is a great way to hold the moisture and to suppress the weeds. So I'm going to show you how you can do this, and I'm going to demonstrate it in two ways here. I've got a little row kind of roughed out here, and I'm going to demonstrate it with a cut piece of trash bag. And then I'm going to cut a place in the yard so that you can see how you could do it if you just wanted to cut out a little corner in your yard and grow a few tomato plants. We've got a row that we've kind of mounded up. I did this earlier this morning because we've had a tremendous amount of rain here and I wanted it to dry a little bit. We're going to do some of it that hasn't had a chance to dry, but basically I've got this mound here and I'm going to be laying this trash bag over the top of it and planting in it. First thing I've got to do is kind of get it smoothed off. Now this ground was lawn 2 weeks ago. Cut this row a little bit. I'm going to put an edge on it right down the side. We're going to go right down this side, do the same thing. We're really not narrowing it up. We're just kind of taking the taper that was down the side off. I cut this bag earlier and I cut it down each side. So I've got a fairly long piece of plastic, but I'm going to lay this over this row like this. And I'm going to come down here to the end and I'm going to get down on my hands and knees. Now I usually like to go up one side a little bit and then I come down the other and I stretch that plastic so it's nice and tight over that row. And then I push up dirt on this edge. All right, just hold that edge out a little bit and you get some dirt over the edge of it. Try and hold that plastic straight. There we have our bed. We're ready to plant tomato plants. All right, I noticed that these are starting to droop a little bit. My plants got a little dry, so I'm going to take my water bottle and just water those plants. You want to start with a good moist plant plug. I found for me that a spacing of about 2 feet works really well. So, you know, we've got about 6 feet here. So I'm going to put in 3 plants on this. I'm not going to start right on the end. I'm going to start in a little bit. I'm going to pop a hole down through it. I go on either side and then I kind of have a oval shaped hole. And then I'm going to pull this dirt out. Just set it there beside. I'm going to take one of my plugs. Now this happens to be Celebrity. Celebrity should be readily available at most places that you can buy plants, but Celebrity is a indeterminate plant. What that means is, or it's a determinate rather, I'm sorry, it means it grows to about 2 feet tall and stops, and most of its crop is together, so it's all going to fruit within about 2 or 3 weeks when it starts fruiting. But from the time you plant to when you can expect some ripe fruit, it's going to be probably 50 some days. All right, we've got one there. We're going to go one right in the middle. So that's going to go right on the seam there, but that's not a problem. I'm just going to pull the dirt aside this time. Push that down in there good. And it's important when you're planting a plant that you have good soil to root contact. On a tomato plant though, it doesn't hurt to push it down deeper. If you have a plant that's leggy, it's taller than you really want it to be, it doesn't hurt to plant it deeper because it'll actually make roots out the side of the stem, and it doesn't hurt it a bit. You would want to do that to a tree, but a tomato plant handles it very nicely. All right, there's my tomato plants. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you learned something. I hope it all inspires you to go and try and plant something. You know, a lot of us find ourselves at home, but we're with our families, which is great, and we're experiencing some fantastic weather. I have found a tremendous amount of satisfaction in my life from growing things. So take some time. Grow something that you've never done before. Take a corner of your yard and put a couple tomato plants. Thanks for tuning in today. I appreciate your attention. Everyone take care. Hey, I want to thank you today for tuning in to these little sessions. You know, my heart is to teach people how to grow things. I believe we've kind of lost touch with growing things in our culture, and I'd love to see that come back. I want to quote a little quote from an unknown person today. It goes like this: if you plant carrots in January, you'll never have to eat carrots. Now you may be thinking, what on earth does that mean? Well, January around here is not the time to plant carrots. If you plant carrots in January, carrots won't grow. Anyway, to everything there's a time and a season, and we're going to spend time in these sessions teaching people how to grow things, little tips, little ideas. So stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in today.